Hello and welcome to the FatBoss Guide to Desolate Host on Mythic in the Tomb of Sargeras.
So this encounter is actually pretty easy for any guild that managed to pick up the encounter quickly on Heroic, as it's more or less the same, it's just a little bit more demanding in the ad management department. The main difference on Mythic is that when any mob is killed in one realm, it will then respawn in the opposing realm. Once you kill it off again, it will then be gone for good until the next set respawns on the timer. There is also a few small changes to the way that certain mechanics and spells work, so they need to be dealt with in a different way as well.
So to kick it off, you want to 3 tank and 5 heal this encounter. It can be 2 tanked and 4 healed, but with the damage requirement being pretty low, you can get away with it and it just makes things a lot safer. Now you want to split your raid into the different realms, just like you did on Heroic. Make sure you split the melee and range DPS equally, however you want to have your rogues and range DPS with immunity stay in the Corporeal realm, and you want to have your extra tank also stay in the Corporeal realm. For the extra healer that you bring, you want to be sending them into the Spirit realm. Right, let's talk about the Corporeal realm first. So stack all the mobs under the boss like you did on Heroic, however your extra tank will want to pick up the Templars. Every time they spawn, you'll need to pick them up and take them right to the back of the room towards the entrance. Back here, their rupturing slam that spawns waves barely affects the raid whatsoever, and you can simply ignore them as they do not need to be killed. Towards the end of the encounter, you have anywhere between 3 and 5 of them on you, depending on your raid's damage. They deal very little damage. As an example, our off-spec blood tank keeps himself up and we just put a beacon on him as a safety precaution. As for the rest of your time in this realm, all of the other ads can just be nuked down, and this includes the ads from the opposing realm that transfer over when they die. Now the priestesses will not cast Shattering Scream in this realm, so you still just need to rely on the priestesses in the spirit realm to remove any of the bone cage armor shields on the bone wardens. With the ads, you always want to prioritize the soul residues first, then the bone wardens, and then the priestesses. Apart from that, the only other thing that is different in this realm is the Spear of Anguish. This now deals a huge amount of damage that will one-shot any player after the debuff has ran out. However, this damage is split between all players within the targeting circle, and you'll need 2 players each time as a minimum. But if the affected player uses an immunity when this times out, not only will they not take any damage, they won't be sent down at all. So by having rogues and immunity DPS in the Corporeal realm, it's just the perfect answers for the spears, as they can just solo every single one, but they can also assist players that can't solo. We have players with the spears move into the middle of the room, which is the exact same location where we deal with the soulbind, but these abilities never overlap, so it is safe to do so. When a player is sent to the spirit realm through the spear, they will need to be topped off just to remove the dot and the absorb shield. However, on Mythic, you cannot click the fonts at the side of the room if you're above 50% health. Now, considering the absorb shield and the dot is nasty and needs to be removed as soon as possible, it is likely to be overhealed and that player is just going to be stuck at full health. The best way for that player to drop to 50% health is simply to wait for the Wailing Souls. The damage from it is predictable and the majority of the ads are dead during this time, and therefore you won't be randomly hit by something else and die. So if you do ever get sent down and you do get topped up and you can't leave, just wait it out. When you get a little bit lower through the Wailing Souls, that's the perfect time to leave. And that's all you need to know for the Corporeal realm players, so let's talk about the Spirit realm.
So your job in this realm is identical to Heroic, however you've got far more bone shields to break. You'll need to break the first set on the bone wardens that are in the Corporeal realm, however when they die and transfer over into the spirit realm, you'll need to then break them again. This isn't complicated, it just requires you to keep at least one priestess alive for a long period of time. We grip a single one out the raid and try and keep cleave and multi-dotting on it to a minimum and try and keep it alive until the next set of priestesses spawn. From there we just repeat. Having a single priestess doesn't really cause your healers to struggle all that much and just allows you to break shields in any realm at any point. The only other change in this phase is the Wailing Souls. Instead of having all players leave apart from the tanks and healers like you do on Heroic, instead we just keep everyone inside and just chain healing cooldowns. Providing you stack up, it's not all that difficult to heal, you just need to make sure that players that have Wither receive additional spot healing. Do not stack however until all the Bone Wardens are dead, otherwise you're going to be destroyed by their Chain Lightning Grasping Darkness cast. Also a note for healers, any of the players that were hit by the spear and are going to be returning to the Corporeal realm during this cast, make sure that you do not heal them above 50% health and make sure that they're dispelled of their chains from the priestesses. But any chains on any other players, it's not worth the mana to dispel them, the chains don't do anything at all apart from slow them. And aside from that, the rest of the mechanics in the encounter should be dealt in the exact same way that you dealt with them in Heroic.
Now before you hit the 30% mark, make sure that everyone is in their correct realms. The moment that the Desolate host spawns, the spirit fonts around the edges of the room, they completely despawn. So if you have too many players in a single realm, then you're really going to struggle dealing with the Sundering Doom or the Doomed Sundering. But this last phase, aside from like not being able to switch between the realms, is the exact same as Heroic. You want to make sure that you finish off all of the ads as possible, apart from the Templars at the back of the room, continue to ignore them, and then you just want to finish off both of the mini-bosses before switching all of your damage onto the Desolate host, whilst making sure that each realm takes turns taking damage from either the Doomed Sundering or the Sundering Doom casts. Now both of these casts do more damage on Mythic, so you need to make sure that when it isn't your turn to stack inside, that you move as far away as you possibly can, just to make sure you reduce the fall-off damage as much as you can. Of course, you don't need to go crazy and exaggerate your movement all the way to like the back of the room next to the Templars, just make sure you're not next to the boss. And honestly, that's it. You just need to make sure you kill the boss before he gets too many stacks and kills you.
So thank you very much for watching, guys. If this guide helped you out, then please do drop us down a like. It helps us out a lot. If you'd like to know more about this boss or any of the other encounters in the Tomb of Sargeras, go check our written guides out over on Wowhead. The link for that is in the description. Also in the description is a link to a kill video. If you'd like to see the strategy we talked about today in play, then go check that out. And before we do go, we'd like to give a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. You guys help out so much and we really, really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your continued support. And we shall see you all in the next video.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.